expressed by the On the Spot with David Rodgers show are solely based on the show's hosts, guests, and viewers, and we are solely responsible for all show content in its entirety and does not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of our sponsors in any way. These broadcasts are presented and made public by the On the Spot with David Rodgers show in the hope that it will be entertaining and informative to our viewers and listening audience.
We'll do it again. Bum, ba, 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 bum, ba, 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 ba. Hey, Will, I'm a friendly stranger in the black sedan. Won't you hop inside my car? I got pictures, got candy, I'm a lovable man, and I can take you to the nearest star. I'm your vehicle, baby. I'll take you anywhere you want to go. I'm your vehicle, woman, but now I'm sure you know that I love you, I need you, I want you, and I got to have you, child. Great God in heaven, you know I love you. Bum, 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 bum.
I have Joe Biden sitting next to me. He's got candy in his car.
Goodness gracious alive. Good Tuesday evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to On the Spot with David Rodgers. Brought to you tonight by Southern Gym Photo Booth. Call 904-263-6079 and let Megan not only bring fun to your event, she can make it picture perfect. And by Dependable Waste Services and Start, from land clearing to waste management to commercial accounts, Jamie Clemens, our friend, can make your land the place to be. Call 904-966-0255. This is your show coming to you on Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday and Saturday night. You control and run this show. We are just a rudder that steers this big old vessel. We bring it to you first for education, discussion, and debate of local news, politics, and sports, as well as the latest on the COVID-19 situation and the ongoings of the United States of America. We have you covered from Middleburg to Melrose to McIntosh, from Lake City to Lake Butler and Lake Como, from Waldo to Williston, from Lottie to Lulu. I'll get to that in a minute. And all points in between, including Gainesville, Palatka, Ocala, and of course right here in beautiful Stark, Florida. Now, here's your on-the-spot team, making it happen every single week. First, putting it all together behind the scenes, our executive producer, Super Dave Holland. Say hello, David.
Hello, everybody.
All right. Keeping the flow of the show is our director, but he is working tonight, manning the 911 dispatch center, Michael, the Dragon Slayer Heater. Rounding out the team with us tonight is our weatherman, the weather guru, Austin Storm Chaser Stevens. Say hello, Austin.
Good evening, everyone.
And not with us tonight on special assignment down in Tampa, Florida, John, better than Snopes Probes. And our great media partners, WEAG Eagle Country 106.3 FM, Chuck and Mary Kramer and Lynn Vellis, and the great staff at the Bradford County Telegraph. And now our co-host, to my right and your left, with local news and breaking information, the scout himself, Mitchell, the local voice on current events, Gunter.
Good afternoon, everyone.
All right. And to my left and your right, he is back with us. He is our historian and our governmental whiz. He is none other than Byron, the freedom fighter, Bagwell.
Good evening, infidels.
All right. And I'm your host, David Rodgers, the voice of the Bradford High Tornadoes, and
the show pony.
Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we're coming to you live from the On the Spot studios along historic Call Street in Stark, Florida. Only 3,150 miles from Stoner, British Columbia, Canada. What I used to be back in the 70s. So let's get started as we always do.
Too much information.
Well, I figure, with our prayer, our pledge, and our patriotic words of wisdom.
God, everything down
and now I'm fixing to say prayer, Mr. Bagwell.
It was all for medical use, right?
Yes, it was. Back then, yes. I invented that, by the way. All right, here we go with our prayer. Our righteous Heavenly Father, let us once thank again for a beautiful and wonderful and glorious day that you've given us, dear Lord. Thank you for everything that you've done for us today and what you've done out throughout our lives, throughout this week, and what you're going to continue to do for us, dear Lord. Let me thank you for letting me have this time with my team, the on-the-spot guys, the guys that bring it to everybody each and every week, every Tuesday and Saturday, that we take the information that we have, dear Lord, and that we put it out there, and that our audience deciphers it and makes sure they understand what we're saying and take it as they need to in their hearts. Want to thank you for letting us live in the greatest, and I mean greatest country in the world today, the United States of America, the freest land in the world today, dear Lord. Thank you for our armed forces as they're out there fighting for our freedoms, our liberties, and our rights. Keep a hedge of protection, dear Lord, as they're going and fighting for us, and bring them back safe to their families. Anybody that's got a spoken or unspoken prayer request tonight, that you touch their hearts, dear Lord, their minds and their souls. You know their needs and their wants, dear Lord. You are the ultimate healer. You are the ultimate comforter, and you can comfort these people as needed. Thank you for that great food that we receive each and every day, that it goes into the nourishment of our bodies and our bodies to thy service. Again, we ask for these things in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. And the congregation says,
Amen.
All right. We'll stand tonight, and I'm going to ask Mr. Austin Stevens if he will lead us in the pledge tonight.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. All right. Before we delve into today's latest and greatest, I want to turn it over to our historian, the guy that fights for our freedoms and our rights, Mr. Byron Bagwell, with the patriotic wisdom and quote of the night.
Goats are like mushrooms. If you shoot a duck, I'm scared of a toaster.
Good grief, that's got to be your Democratic nominee.
That's correct. That was Joe Biden.
Really? Okay.
And now, in all seriousness, we the people are the rightful masters of both the Congress and the courts, not to overthrow the Constitution, but to overthrow the men who would pervert the Constitution.
That would be our great president, Mr. Abraham Lincoln.
That would be correct.
How about that?
That's pretty good, Dave.
That's not bad for a guy that don't know much history.
Well,
Sound like you could be a history teacher.
Yeah, I could be.
Well, with a quote like "goats are like mushrooms."
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Mr. Bagwell. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. I've got the full crew tonight with the exception of Mr. Michael Heater, who's on the dispatch center, the 911 man tonight. He's keeping us safe tonight, Mitchell.
That's right.
And John Better, the Snopes Pro. He's in Tampa doing a couple of things down there. But besides that, to my left, one of my brothers right here, we've got Mr. Byron Bagwell. So, hello, Byron.
Hello, everybody, and infidels. All sort of
things.
I
know what you were going to say.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, later. With the weather tonight is the man himself, the prettiest guy on the set, Austin Storm Chaser Stevens. Say hello, Austin.
Hey there, David.
How you doing?
All right.
And the second best looking guy on the set, behind Austin, producing our show tonight, the one and only Super Dave Holland. Say hello, David.
Thank you, David, for respecting your elders.
I sure appreciate that. Thank you very much. Now, I will expect that check in the mail pretty shortly.
Ching.
Ting, ting. And to my right.
Corruption going on
No.
No.
And to my right, here's the local guru, the man with the plan, the guy that they call Frank Sinatra. There he is, Mitchell Gunner. How about it, Mitchell?
Hey,
Hey, Mitchell Gunner.
Hey, did you say hey to yourself? And I'm your host, David Rodgers, the show pony.
Did we ever figure out who his grandfather was?
No, but we're getting real close, Byron. We're getting real close.
Hey, but I'm actually going to take a thing out of David's book tonight.
All right.
I'm excited
Rodgers?
No.
Oh,
Hairless Will Rodgers.
Hairless Will. I like that. All right. Anybody else? Do you spot anybody else?
You're getting close, huh?
You're getting real close.
And actually, David came through there.
I sure did, and I came through there today to help the grilling. Good grief. That's a good one, Mitchell. All right, before we delve into today's latest, we want to recognize our great sponsors who have been working hard with limited staff and changing hours. This is our sponsor spotlight. Here we go. Miracle Automotive and Recovery. That's Kenny and Kurt Miracle. Dependable Waste Services, which is Jamie Clemens. Schuster and Sabin Law Offices, Lisa Baxter, and the great lawyers over at that law office, and Chrissy and Ricky Thompson, the owners of the Downtown Grill. Yeah.
Hey, how about Service First Small Engine Repair?
Vehicle and attempted a traffic stop. The suspect had refused to stop and led officers and deputies on a pursuit, which ended when Deputy Dylan Cruz used a pit maneuver at the intersection of Northwest 177th Street and County Road 229. The suspect surrendered at the scene and had to be extricated from the vehicle by Bradford County firefighters using the jaws of life after the at 352-486-5111, exit 270, or Crime Stoppers, now we are, at 877-349-8477. You can remain anonymous and still collect a reward for the information. The Swanee River Water Management District Board chose to postpone a decision on the Seven Springs Water Company to pump water from Jenny Springs in Gilchrist County, saying the decision should be made at an in-person meeting. The staff has recommended allowing the Seven Springs Company, which sells to Nestle, to pump out about 980,000 gallons of water a day. This is 3 times, ladies and gentlemen, the current amount which is allowed for pumping. The new permit would last for 5 years, Mitchell. Isn't that crazy?
That's a lot of
That's a lot of water. That's why Byron's shaking his head.
Our water that we use here in Florida, they're going to pump out and turn around and sell to us for a profit.
For a profit.
Profit.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is the aquifer only holds so much in spots. That's part of the reason why we had a problem in Keystone and all the lakes, because they kept on messing with it.
That's exactly right. Putnam County deputies are searching for an Interlaken man wanted for false imprisonment. Alejandro Morales, age 29, has a warrant for his arrest on simple battery and false imprisonment. If anyone knows of Morales' whereabouts, please call Crime Stoppers of Northeast Florida at 888-277-8477, and you can always remain anonymous. A reminder that Cherry Street and Stark will be closed tomorrow, August 12th, and Church Street will be closed on Thursday, August 18th, due to underground utility work for the new State Road 100 overpass project. Also a reminder, in Alachua County, State Road 235 will be closed at the railroad crossings between Alachua and La Crosse for repairs due to crashes. Between August 21st and the 23rd, traffic will be detoured to US 441 and State Road 121. Earlier this afternoon, Marion County Sheriff Billy Woods joined several other sheriffs from around the nation on a phone conference call with President Donald Trump. President Trump spoke and gave his unwavering support of all who are part of the law enforcement community. During the nearly 30-minute phone call, President Trump expressed his commitment to stand with law enforcement as they work to make our communities safer. Kudos. And finally, for stargazers in North America, one of the most highly anticipated and reliable meteor showers will peak after our show tonight. The preceding meteor shower will peak on Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning. That's for all you stargazers. This year, spectators across the Northern Hemisphere can expect to see between 50 and 75 meteors an hour under dark skies, which averages about one meteor every minute. Look to the east towards the Atlantic Ocean for the best view away from your city lights. And now, here is your weather update, sponsored by Austin's Weather Service out of Keystone Heights. Find AWS on Facebook for this latest information. Welcome in our weather guru, our weatherman, Austin Storm Chaser Stevens. How about it, Austin?
Good evening, everyone. I know yesterday was a crazy afternoon. It rained so hard that Highway 301 got shut down. I saw Gordon post it. Did you see that, David?
I did see it. I sure did.
So why did Mother Nature want to cry on your parade?
I don't know.
But anyways, there's another round of it coming this way as we speak right now. So that stargazing night may be interrupted by lightning. So we'll have to watch the radar. You can look at yesterday, the radar site out of Jacksonville, Florida was down for several hours. Now here's your forecast for the region. Rest of tonight, partly cloudy through the night with temperatures in the mid-70s with a 70% chance of thunderstorms in the evening. Then about a 10% after midnight. 50% of thunderstorms each day with temperatures in the mid to lower 90s, and at night in the mid-70s. Heat index values of 99 to 106. These thunderstorms will continue through the next 7 days.
Thank you, Austin. This weather report brought to you by Austin's Weather Service of Keystone Heights. Find AWS on Facebook and get a local forecast sent right to you. And Austin will be back with us here in a little bit in the show and give you another weather update before we go off the air tonight. Now, here's our newest segment, Byron, Austin, Dave, and Mitchell. We call it What's the Year segment. This is where our viewers get to guess what year these three events happened. So here's event number one. Plans for a new public library in Stark were approved. Stark city officials were told to trim $1.3 million from the proposed budget, slated at $17.6 million. School administrators struggled to implement new background and fingerprinting requirements set forth by the state of Florida. What year did this happen? This Bradford Telegraph headlines were from the first week of August in what year? Was that August 2005, August 2007, or August 2009? The answer is coming up, but let me reread these. How about that, Dave? Let's see if we can get them here. So here's now is What's the Year segment. Plans for a new public library in Stark were approved. Stark city officials were told to trim $1.3 million from the proposed budget slated at $17.6 million. School administrators struggled to implement new background and fingerprinting requirements set forth by the state of Florida. This is What's the Year segment. These Bradford Telegraph headlines were from the first week of August in what year? 2005, 2007, 2009. The answer is coming up. But before we go there, I want to introduce and bring on everybody that we have on tonight, Mr. Bagwell. So I will start with Melissa Delp. Good evening to you, ma'am. Noah Gibson with the Minions, of course. Katie's watching from Tennessee. Look at here, Barbie Crawford. Hey, we ain't seen you in a long time either.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. I hope Rob Barrick is on too. Sheree Smith, good evening to you. Ralph Thornton, good evening. Yolanda Jones, good evening to you. Kevin Howe, good evening, sir. That's who? Kevin Howe is what?
Oh, that's your
A commentator.
Yeah.
And we're going to do that tonight. We're going to role play that tonight since Kevin can't be here. I will be putting makeup on tonight, Katie says. Well, why don't you administer some to me? Because I can sure use it. Mark
because
Udi.
his face is killing me.
Yeah. It's killing the heck out of me. Yeah. So Mark Udi's on. Jeff Udi's brother. You're full of it tonight, aren't you? Boy, you know who the best at this is. I'll be getting you back here shortly. You're not messing with you. Ellen Disher Williams. I like that. Did you like that?
Yeah, I love that.
Lisa Thomas. Good evening to you.
Lisa.
You keep going. Katie says we keep going in and out. Yes, we did have a little bit of a glitch there for a couple of seconds. We are back on. Lisa, we are back on. Melissa, yes, we are. Dwight Allen. You know what Dwight Allen is?
I know that guy.
You know Dwight Allen? What was he? He was the Volunteer of the Month for July.
Yes.
Our first
yes.
one. How about that, huh? Dwight Allen, good evening, Patriot. Glenn Reeder, going to have to watch later. Everyone have a good night. You must have to go. Donald Stevens says good evening. All right, I'm going to let you get to that here in just a second. Melissa Dell, God bless President Trump. Yep.
Amen.
Noah, yay. Donald Stevens. And Bonnie Stevens is on tonight.
Really?
Hello, Bonnie. It's been a little bit. John Garner from Pascagoula, Mississippi. One of my old classmates is on. Say hello to John. There you go.
Hey,
Noah,
John.
there you go. Melissa Dell says that happened in August of 2005. Noah Gibson says 2007. Hello, Bonnie. Dwight Allen says 05. Roy Jackson 05. Mark Moody says 09. Lisa Tomlinson Moody says 09. Bonnie Stevens says 09. Sheree Smith says 05. Katie Rainbow says 2006. Where in the heck was that? We didn't even ask 2006 up there. You meant 2005, Katie, I know. Sheila Sam, good evening to you. It's close to Halloween, so may I do peanut stickers now? Whatever floats your boat, Noah. David, I will come down there and put makeup on you guys. Lots of laugh if you want me to. Yeah, I may need it. Who do you
She's
have?
going to make us look like Kiss.
Yes, absolutely. As long as I'm Ace Frehley, I'm all right with that. Who do you have, Byron? I got to
You
be
just
Ace.
stole my thunder, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Rob Clayton is on.
Rob Clayton from Georgia.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And the other, Brian Smith is on.
Brian, I like Brian. Brian,
That's
yeah.
Cherie's husband.
Yeah,
And you know Brian.
yeah, Brian.
Yeah.
Patriot, good a Patriot.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, very good Patriot.
Yes, he is.
Who else you got?
That's it.
That's
Other
it.
than the ones you've already named.
Dave, who do you have?
Well, I got a host of people.
A host of them. All right.
I'll just run off a few.
Just run off a few.
Yeah. Terry Vaughn.
Terry Vaughn is on. Hello, Terry.
Kirk Miracle.
Kurt Miracle's on.
Yeah.
Hello, Kurt.
Kenny Miracle.
Both of them. Sponsor.
Travis Woods.
Hey, Travis.
Travis. Welcome.
Sharon Petram.
Hey,
Well,
shit, yeah. All right. Who do you have, Mitchell?
I got Donald Trump,
All right. President Trump, welcome in.
Eric Trump,
Eric Trump, welcome in.
Joe Biden. Nah, just kidding.
Nah. Hey, did you see what I was saying?
I think I just threw up a little bit.
Who else you got, Byron?
A great comment from Dwight.
All right, what do you say?
He said, Heels Up Harris is creepy. Joe's VP, really sad.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yep. Oh, my goodness. You know who else I got on right here, Byron? Robert Griffiths, the father of Josh Griffiths.
Really?
Florida State.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Hello, Robert.
good.
I hope Josh is doing okay over there. Speaking of football, we're going to be talking a little bit about that here down the road. But, ladies and gentlemen, we got all our answers in, I guess. What we're going to get in.
We got a lot tonight.
Yes, we do. The answer to that question, if you said August of 2005, you are correct.
Ding, 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 ding.
August 2005. And, Byron, we had several on this.
Oh, yeah.
Several on that says that. Robert Griffith says, go Noles. How about that? Go Noles.
As long as they're not playing Florida.
Yeah,
Well,
y'all don't
not
want to play
playing
us. They're not
Florida
playing
because you're
Florida
scared to
because
play
they're
us
too
this
scared to
year.
play us this year.
No, actually, I think the governor is trying to work it out.
Is he?
Florida and Florida State can play a game.
Oh, really?
Right.
This year?
Yes.
Oh,
Well,
that's
see
awesome.
what-
DeSantis is in, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what happens when the People's Republic of Alachua County gets a hold of
Oh,
it.
they won't like that. Noah Gibson says, go Dogs. Alan says, go Gators. That's the only thing with our volunteer of the month. He is a Gator fan.
Also like the Knights.
That ain't no problem.
What do you mean that's not a... Ashley Rayberg's in. Hey, Ashley, tell me if your dad's on. If he is, before he gets on, please tell him to take those meds. Anyway... Good grief. Welcome into the show, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Rodgers. This is Byron Bagwell. There's Austin Stevens. We got Dave Hollis. And we got Mitchell Gunner. Let's segue right into it, Mitchell, because this is about to go off the rails.
Okay.
I thought you was gonna say Frank Sinatra again.
Well, I was going to say Frank Sinatra.
Really quick before you go into your segment, I have a question about some local news. I want to know if you've heard it. Yeah, did you hear anything about what happened in Putnam County on 315C? Did you find
No, I
anything?
heard they had found some bones, but as far as that, I haven't heard anything else.
Okay.
The first thing that
Yeah,
came into my mind was the little girl that was missing for a very, very long time, but none of that has been released. If it was a child or an adult or anything, so
Well-
I guess that investigation is still going forward. Or maybe the bones weren't human.
Weren't
they
human.
belonged to an animal.
but I can tell you, when I saw them there, they had just cut down a bunch of trees, a bunch of stuff along the side of the road. I guess
Right.
they're either going to repave that road, which desperately needs to be done, or they were doing it for the storms and the power lines. And there was a group of 5 deputies standing over what looked to me to be human remains. Now,
Right.
I was driving down the road at about 40 miles per hour, slowing way down because they were all right there. So I don't know that for 100% sure.
right.
But I can.
Well, and I haven't seen any other news agency reporting it.
Yeah.
So either it's under investigation and they're keeping their mouth shut and not saying anything at this time. They may have sent those bones off to be looked at
Right.
through forensics
Right.
to try to find out how long they have been there.
Right.
They try to get DNA samples and see who they possibly belong to before they make an announcement.
But I tell you what, guys, as we always do, if we find out something and we're able to release
I'll
it,
break it.
we'll break it right here on the spot, right, Dave?
Yes,
That's
sir.
what we do. We get that breaking news to you right away. Somebody put bones in question mark. Absolutely. So as soon as we find out more about it, we'll definitely release information.
It was bones.
So.
It was bones.
Well, I'll go ahead and I'll start off with our Bradford County School District. And
Yep.
everybody knows that, hey, they started back on school on Monday. We actually took my youngest up to Southside Elementary, and I tell you, they had their stuff together. It went just as smooth. They had lines of parents with their kids. They went in one by one. They had an area over by the cafeteria inside the gates where they would line the kids up according to the class.
Mm-hmm.
The teacher would come get them and walk them to class. So it was very well organized. As far as I know of, no hitches whatsoever in any of our schools. And I just want to tell everyone my hat goes off to our to Southside Elementary for doing such a great job, and also to our school board and superintendent for how smoothly everything went. Everything also went very well with our bus routes. As far as the sanitizing the seats between the runs, everything worked perfectly.
Nice.
So, great job. Also, that happened Monday was a senior breakfast for the class of 2021 that took place at First Baptist Church. The breakfast was provided by the Downtown Grill. The people who had donated money for this cause was Jeff Udi, Sheriff Gordon Smith, Stacy Creighton, and also Jenna Hewitt with the Bradford Community Coalition purchased a backdrop so kids could get their picture during the breakfast. And then on top of that, you know what happened? They were escorted down 301 to the high school. So what a great way to support our senior class coming into this year, especially after the year that they had last year. Let's just hope that the Lord keeps a hedge of protection over them and keeps everyone healthy in our school district. Also happening on Monday in the city of Stark was the ribbon cutting for the new Edwards Road Sports Complex. And this actually opened up the new splash pad for the kids to go play. And also they had remodeled new bathrooms so we could also meet ADA requirements that is required by law. And also new field lights for the fields and better, safer parking areas for the ball field. So it was going pretty well, and you can actually look. I bet you in the Telegraph this week you will see some pictures of kids out there playing on that splash pad. Now I want to drop on over to our COVID-19 numbers. So far in the state of Florida, positive people are 574,324. New cases today, 5,831. Deaths since March, 8,685. New deaths today, 277. New cases this week, 45,622. New deaths this week, 1,159. Pediatric cases, 41,440. Pediatric ER admissions was 2,704. Pediatric deaths, still 7. In prison cases, 15,818. And I did not get the prison's deaths because they were still updating, and I have them right here. Prison deaths are now at 72. And to go by county, in Alachua County, we have 4,346 cases with 75 new cases today. No new deaths. Total of deaths, 27.
Wow.
Also in Baker County, they have 965 cases, 32 new cases today, 0 new deaths. Reach on over here to Bradford County. We are now at 526 cases, 11 new cases today, no new deaths. We're still holding at 4. Over in Clay County, we are looking at 3,404 cases, 29 new cases today, and 1 new death. Columbia County, we're at 2,935 cases, 24 new cases today, and 1 death. Duval County, we are at 24,843 cases with 211 new cases a day and 9 new deaths. And in Flagler County, 1,154 with 17 new cases, 0 deaths. So, I mean, as you can see, we stay on pretty much the same trend in our larger counties per cases per day. And, you cannot go by the actual total cases because that's totally inaccurate. If you do your little sheet and you can write down how many cases that you have per week, well, when the next weekly totals come out, you can half that, and that's your total, and half it by the next week. And that's usually about how many active cases that we're going to continue to have, because the symptoms can last anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks.
Sure.
And the thing is, we just have to be very careful. If you feel uncomfortable, wear a mask. If you feel really uncomfortable, put gloves on. But the most important thing you can do, and they keep on preaching the CDC, is keep your hands washed all the time and keep your hands off your face.
Right.
But you know what? Working in construction and working in our type of work, hey, we start sweating, and what do? We wipe our we wipe our hands or our eyes or nose,
And usually it's on a dirty shirt or something.
Right.
The other thing you need to do is you need to make sure that you're staying away from people that you aren't sure about.
Yes.
I mean,
I agree.
You're staying away from people far enough. You can't get a droplet on you to actually put on your face.
Right.
And they're discovering more and more that it doesn't live as long on surfaces anymore either, which they're not talking about.
Right.
Well, I'm going to get into something that is very important, and we've been having a lot of traffic crashes on both the north and southbound side of the bypass. And looking at the speed limit and the room that they have for the semis to shut down, I want to talk to FDOT and probably also talk to Bobby Payne and see what we can do, if we can put some early warning detection that will allow the truckers or anybody know that the light is going to be changing red before they even get there, so they can already start that attempt to slow down. I'm telling you, we have accidents on both ends of the bypass almost every single day. And I've seen pictures, I've seen it myself, where vehicles go way past where you're supposed to stop at the traffic lights, and are out there in the middle of the road. And a lot of it is people's not observing the speed limit like they're supposed to,
Right.
and not slowing down.
Yep.
But I think, if we put these early detection signs up on both ends of the bypass, it will give those truckers a heads up to start applying the brakes a little earlier. We all know they're carrying a larger load than a regular vehicle, and it takes more room for them to slow down.
Yes.
So, and I'm also going to contact and find out how much longer we're going to have to wait for those early detection signs for 144th and 100, and the Lincoln Beacon that they're going to put up at 21B and 100, because we did have a traffic crash there, I think Sunday. It's the first traffic accident that we've had since we had the entrance and exit redone for the collection site. So it's still a pretty bad place. It is better than what it was because we went a long time without an accident there, and usually we would have one there about every 2 weeks.
2 weeks. We would always be talking about one.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, Dave Holland, he brought up another good place that I need to go look at and discuss it with FDOT and have them look at it as well. It is right when you go up underneath the overpass on 16. Before you get to Pleasant Grove Road, that area right there is open for passing.
Yes, it is.
And eventually we're going to have the same problem. Someone's going to get behind someone that's slow. Yeah. They're going to dart out the pass at the same time someone is turning off that road. And it'll be pretty much similar. What I'm going to ask for, what I had done at 190th and State Road 100. By putting those no passing lanes through there.
That's good.
And of course, sometimes it doesn't stop idiots from still passing through there.
I had one of them pass me on the curve. Not pass me, but pass another car in front of me.
And it's a double line.
It's a double line on a curve.
Yeah,
I watched this person do this. Oh, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Literally.
So we'll see what I can do with the bypass and see if we can get those in. You know, some people worry about, well, how are they going to get, utilities to those?
Right.
But a lot of those can now work off of radio waves
Yeah.
from the tower for the traffic signals, and you can also use solar power
Yeah.
to run them. So
Sure.
hopefully we can do that with those, and basically that's going to be the same thing like I said at 144th and 100,
Right.
and see if we can save some more lives. And
You've saved a lot of lives over there, I tell you, with the hard work that you've done. And speaking of that, if you know of an issue and you don't know how to go about trying to get it fixed or done, this is the guy that does know. All you have to do is what, Byron? Email us to where?
Yeah, that would be on the spot at Gmail.
32091.
32091 at gmail.com. Sorry.
Yeah.
On the spot
Mhm.
I'm having issues
On the
tonight.
spot,
32091 at gmail.com.
Or you can message Mitchell, or you
just
can hit him on Facebook,
at any
Yeah.
time.
or any of us.
I'll be willing to drive out and look at it, and talk to Bobby Payne's office. He has done a wonderful job with his years there.
Yeah.
Couldn't ask for a better person for that position. And and if I always had to, I could reach out to Bradley's office as well.
Right. So great stuff, Mental. All right, let's get to some comments here, and then we're going to get over to Mr. Bagwell. We got some important things to come here. Let me go right here, Byron. We got Katrina Griffiths, the mother of Josh Griffiths, is on.
Oh, welcome in.
Yeah, Kurt Miracle says the kids are starting school. Let them play ball. I agree with you, Kurt. Unfortunately, I've got some bad news for you, and that is, and I'll just go ahead and reveal it right here, the Pac-12 and the Big Ten decided no football for the fall, possible spring. That's what they're shooting for. And I'm wondering if the other 3 Power 5 conferences are going to follow in suit. That would be the SEC, the ACC, and the Big 12. We'll see what happens. Right now, no budging from the ACC.
Right.
They want to play. SEC, I think, is right there. And the Big 12 is teeter-tottering right now. My question to you, gentlemen, and to you, panel, is, okay, we want to see football, right?
Right.
But we want to see a true national champion.
Well, they would be a true national champion because they're the ones that decided to sit out.
Well, that is very true.
I
But
mean,
without
that's all
all without all 5 conferences
It
in,
doesn't matter.
can you really say that there's a true national I'm
Yes.
saying true national champion?
When's the last national championship champion
Come out of the
Big
Pac-12
or the
or the Big Ten? Yeah. Well, I mean, I know Ohio State's in it every year, and that's what people are saying.
They're
Ohio
in it
State
until
until the playoffs.
The playoffs.
Until the
And then
playoffs.
they get stomped.
I'd
Yeah.
say you can't pick a true champion until you have all the teams.
I agree with you. I agree with Byron too, but I agree with you. But here's the thing: the last 6 or 7 national championships have either come from the SEC or the ACC.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I see where Byron's going with that. But yes, I would like to see all the
see 'em
conferences
all.
play. I want to see them all play too.
Me too, man.
I tell you,
Yeah,
today,
I would.
our governor, Ron DeSantis, actually went to Florida State and sat down with some of the coaches and some of the football players and actually got to see some of it on live streams on
Yeah.
Facebook. And he talked to several football players, and these guys, they want to play.
Yeah, they want
And
to play.
especially the 2 players that he was talking to because they had season-ending injuries, and they're back, and they want to perform because, there's a lot of things that's on the line.
Stock in
because
NFL draft.
You better believe it. And that's a lot of money for these guys.
Yeah.
But I don't know where it's going to go. We all know that Governor DeSantis wants sports going on
Yes.
in our state.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I know Indianapolis, they've been holding the drag races up there
Yes,
for
yeah.
a long time. I'm just wondering when NHRA is going to say, hey, Florida says they want us to.
Right.
Instead of us running to Indy all the time, let's run some races down there in Gainesville. And
I would be surprised if
love
they do.
I would love it. So, but our governor wants football to be played in our state, both
Yeah.
on high school,
We all
college level,
Yes.
and NFL.
And I want the high school too, really, to play.
Right.
I know that there's going to be another vote on that. Right now, as of right now, with nothing being overturned or upheld, practices start for high school on August 24th. So that means the schedule has pushed back. All the games are still there. So, and I'll go over that schedule at some point. But all the games are still there. They will just be pushed back a couple of weeks. They're talking about playing those championships in Byron in mid-December to late December.
Oh, wow.
So you see how far it's going to push back about 3 weeks
Wow.
because the state championships usually held the first week of December.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
So
David, do you think it's very possible they'll look at these high schools in the state of Florida and just have them play district games?
I thought yes, and I've heard some schools say that, like you're talking about, divided into little regions and playing regional games, not going too far off from their home fields and playing games like that. Now, with that, there's a 10-game season, regular season, in play all the time. Would this drop it to 5, 6, 7 games? I mean, I don't know, just depending on scheduling. But I do know that Miami, Byron, wants to pull out of the FHSAA because Miami, even though that's a hotbed down there for the COVID-19, Miami's saying, we want to play.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me. Miami's saying, I think they're saying we don't want to play, and the FHSA is for something because it is a hotbed. My mistake. They don't want to play because of the high numbers down there in Dade County.
Well, all they're going to do is hurt their seniors that are trying to get scholarships to go play the next level.
That's right.
And you not just hurt them on their football career, but you're hurting them in their educational field to make something of themselves. To make great money, even if they don't fall in the role of playing professional football.
I want to bring something up to you guys. I want to ask y'all a question.
Sure.
All right, we talked about moving all this back to the spring, like the Big Ten and the Pac-12 did.
Right.
I heard something that was very interesting. I want to get you guys, if y'all were football players, okay? I'm going to throw you a question. Throw it to the audience, too. Okay. You're you play for Penn State. I'm just saying. Oh, okay, Florida State. You play for Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
You're a potential first-round pick.
Right.
Okay. Spring football starts. They moved it back to February, let's say. Would you play? Knowing that the draft is coming up in June or
No.
April?
No.
April. If, let's say the draft doesn't move. Draft's coming up in April. Let me ask you. You're an All-American playing at Florida State. Would you
know what I
play?
would do? You know what I would do?
What's that?
I would take hydrochloroquine, and I would tell them that they're going to start the season on time when it's supposed to start. And I would go to as many press conferences as I possibly could and do the same thing.
As a football player, you'd be the voice of...
I most certainly would.
all right.
Knowing what I know now.
Knowing what you know now, but not knowing what you know. Would
Well,
you play? If they
Yeah,
said...
even at that, yes, because I would look at it through a logical standpoint that
I have a chance to win maybe a national championship.
well, not only just that, but COVID-19 doesn't affect healthy people
Right.
in the same way it affects people with underlying problems.
Right.
So if I caught it, more than likely I would be sick for a couple of days and then I would be fine. You
Right.
hear these athletes say, "Yes, I had it. I was
Right.
sick for 2 days."
Right. Yeah.
Ezekiel
And
Elliott.
Ezekiel
Elliott.
Elliott's one. Yeah.
And that would be my reasoning behind that. People may think that's crazy, but it's not.
Right.
Because
But I'm
we
just
do this
talking...
every year with different viruses.
let's take the COVID out. We're pushing it now. I'm not saying we're over COVID, but COVID's not in play, let's say, per se. They moved your football season. You're the All-American at Florida State. They moved your football season to spring. You're a potential first-round pick in the NFL draft.
Yes.
Would you play?
Yes,
And tell me why you would.
because that's my football team and I want to play football.
Excellent answer. That's good.
That's it, and I want to give them a chance. I want to give my team a chance
right.
to play for a national championship my senior year.
Yep.
It will help my stock
Mm-hmm.
in the draft, and it will show to the coaches that I'm not going to hide because I'm afraid of being injured.
And that was going to be my question to you. So, and that's a good call. I like it because that's my deal with it. So what happens if you get hurt and you lose your draft stock?
So,
Okay.
and my response to that is going to be I'm going to rehab and I'm going to make whatever team didn't
Pick me up.
regret.
Right. Exactly. That's a good one.
I'll make it up if I'm that talented.
Right. You can make it up in
later contracts. Because look, football's a team sport.
Yes, it is.
And we're talking about individuals.
Right.
And people see this in a different light, and they want to go make as much money as they possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, they're missing what the
point
the
yes
sport is really about.
Mm-hmm.
It's about your team.
Yeah, it is.
It really is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could say, well, this player, that player, the other player.
Right.
Well, without the rest of the players on those football teams, you don't win national championships.
Right.
You don't win Heisman trophies.
No, you don't.
You
got to have everybody.
If you're a running back, you got to have an offensive line.
Yes, you do.
And
Mm-hmm.
you used to have to have
A fullback.
a good fullback.
Yeah.
If you're a wide receiver, you have to have a quarterback.
That's
If you're
right.
a quarterback, you have to have good
Wide receivers. And
running
good
backs, and tight ends.
Yeah.
And a good offensive line. It's all about team.
Right.
And they're moving away from that because
Yes,
of
they
all
are.
the money that they can make.
Right.
But if you look at the teams that win national championships,
Mm-hmm.
they're teams.
They're teams.
They're the whole entire group. They're teams.
Prime example right here. Travis Etienne, the running back from Clemson. He could have been picked in the first round, probably in the top 10 picks in last year's draft. He said, "No, I want to come back. I don't want to go out like that. I want to come back and try to win a national
Get
championship."
another one. And
Yeah.
it's very possible that,
Yeah.
that they will. That team is loaded again.
Dave, what would you do? Would you want to play?
I'd always want to play.
Always want to play, no matter when. Mitchell? I think Mitchell's got a little different. I want to hear your take on it. Okay.
If I got
Your first round draft pick
first round draft
Florida.
pick, and I've got $80 million
waiting on you.
confirmed, waiting right there,
Yeah.
I'm not going to risk a season injury to play in the fall for a couple of months.
To play in the spring.
I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep
I wanna
myself
It's a hard
safe
decision.
and settled,
I like both the
and
answers.
I've got to think about my family.
Right.
When I look at that situation, I got to think about my health,
Yeah.
and also got to think about that team that I'm going to,
Right.
because
Right.
they're putting up the money. That's where I'm going to go. If I blow out my knee and I don't get no rehab, doesn't fix it, or I break my back, or I break my neck, all that money's gone.
All right.
Now, if I make it to the NFL,
Right.
and something bad happens to me like that, I'm guaranteed that $80 million.
You know why? Because of the collective bargaining
That's
agreement from the.
And if I get hurt
from the National
and I can't
Football
play no
League.
more,
Mhm.
I'm set, and I can take care of my family, even though I wouldn't be able to work.
I like both of you guys' answers, and Dave, I like yours too. But Mitchell, I want to throw something at you just a little bit. What if you were in the national championship game? What if you were playing in the national?
I wouldn't know that, not
because
I
you
already
would already been.
took myself out.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, let's just say you have a choice to sit out in that national championship. Would you sit out?
No, I wouldn't sit out if I was there.
Okay. Because
I saw the sparkle.
Yeah, I see that sparkle in his eyes.
I'm not going to sit
I
out.
see the sparkle in your eyes. You talking about those blue eyes?
But if I'm
They
gonna,
lit up.
but if I'm gonna pull out early,
Right.
no, I'm not going to chance it. Not
Right.
when I have to think about my family.
Yeah.
I have to think about that team that put up that money because they believe in me and they believe that I'm going to come there healthy
Right.
and support them as far as getting them to a Super Bowl.
Well, if you're a first round pick for NFL, right?
Sure. Yeah. We're using it.
But yet you're still in college and
Right.
you're working through the season
Yeah.
and you're at the top of that seasonal list and you're the guy that's going to take everybody to the championship.
It's a tough decision to make, but you got to think about the bigger picture. And I would hate to do that to my teammates.
See,
really
and
would.
that's where I'm
But I
torn.
have to.
Would
but I have to
NFL look
the
at
bigger-
you a little different? Oh, well, you know.
No, because you want to know why? They already know what they got. They definitely don't want you hurt if they're offering you $80 million to come there.
Which is true. But now, how about Byron's sentiment? Okay. Byron knows he's a first round draft pick. He knows he's got a great team. He's going to play because he knows he's got a chance to win a national championship. You know, to me, I guess, what weighs more? at that particular time.
That's going to be personal.
That's going to be personal, and that's why I wanted to get you. Yes.
It's going to be personal, is what it.
And you're going to see players do it. You're going to see players not do it.
Maybe it's because when I was playing sports, I was a decent athlete.
Correct, and that's the other.
I was not a star athlete.
Right.
And everything I did was to improve the teams that I was on.
Right.
And maybe that's
why
I feel that way.
And I've always been that way too.
I tell you, when I ran cross country and ran track for Bradford High, I never missed a meet. Never on either cross country or track and field.
You wasn't just running for yourself; you was running for points for your team too.
And I ran hurt. I ran with broken toes. I have ran with shin splints. If you know what that is,
yes, that hurt. That's hard.
I've ran hurdles with a groin pulled.
Right.
I even ran the quarter mile leg or the mile relay after running the hurdles, falling down, scraping almost all the skin all the way down to the bone on my knee.
You just kept on.
And I still got up there and I ran my leg.
Do you know why? Because you had this.
That's right.
You had this.
That's right.
Hey, heart. You got to have heart.
It'd be hard not to play.
I know it would.
It would be.
Yeah. It
would hurt.
When I threw that little scenario about the chicken, did you see his little eyes?
Yeah, those blue eyes.
I
saw that the sparkle.
Yeah, the sparkle in his eye when we said that.
But you know, the main thing is you have to take care of yourself because no one else is going to take care of you but yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
No one's going to care
That's
for
true.
you more than yourself.
You're right.
You know, and that's how I look at it.
And you know, we didn't throw in. I could have thrown in all kinds of scenarios. I could have said, Byron, you come from a poor family. You come from a bad section of town.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You want to take care of your mom and your brothers and sisters. I didn't throw those scenarios in there. All I just threw was
if you would have thrown that scenario in on me, I would have told you I probably would have come out in my junior year anyway.
And that's the
that would have been my answer to that.
Because that athlete always has a chance to go back to college and finish up his degree or her degree, depending on what professional sport it is.
Yeah.
Look at Emmitt Smith.
Window.
He left when he was a junior.
Yep.
He went and played for the Dallas Cowboys.
And the rest is history,
He
right?
went back and he finished up his degree at the University of Florida.
33%.
Hey, Austin, what would you do? Would you rather play or are you coming out? If you're you're a top round pick in NFL, first round. You're an All-American Austin Stevens, playing defensive end for Florida State.
Oh, well, why'd you throw it at Florida? Oh.
Well,
Florida.
yeah. Okay, Ohio State.
That's even worse.
The Knights.
That's even worse.
All right, yes or no? Would you come out or would you?
Well, it depends.
Okay.
Well, depending on to what's going on with COVID-19, if COVID-19 was
Still prevalent in the spring?
Well, even if it was going through half of the college population, then yeah, but
otherwise, that's a good point. All right, let me get some comments, and I know you got some comments there too, Byron. You got some people. Katie says, David, my cousin's brother's wife's not doing too good. They're trying to take her off life support today. Oh no, our prayers are with you, Katie.
Yep.
No doubt about that.
So sorry
Sorry to hear about that too. Noe Gibson, Bones, prayer up. Mr. Griffith says, Kurt Miracle says, go Gators, go Noles. Keystone Roads needs a lot of overhaul of TLC, Noah says. What do you think about that, Byron? You live over there.
I think some of them definitely need that. I can tell you 315C is one of those roads that definitely need that.
Hey, I tell
Yes,
you,
it does.
and what they're doing on 21, man, I'll tell you what, they're making it rough. That road is rough after I guess they're doing core drilling.
Yeah.
You're
talking about on 100, right?
Right, on 21.
On 21.
They're doing it 21 between the grocery store and Melrose.
And I don't ever drive that. I always take the back roads to down.
I think they're doing core drilling and they're looking at the levels because I guess they're planning on probably coming back and doing something with that road. And it look like they're laying line down for something else. So
I thought maybe you were talking about on 100 headed towards Palatka outside of Flora Home. They've left they've
Yeah.
left those core holes that they did, and that's rough. I mean, it's rough that section right there.
Archie Waters, welcome in. Bonnie Stevens says, Aiden's teacher is amazing. Mrs. Combs. You know her? Archie says, Bonnie, her name ain't Misty Combs, is it? Now, I know Misty Combs. Is that the Miss Combs?
I don't know.
So, yeah, she's that broker. That's exactly right. And she asked Archie, Mr. Allen had to go. He said, good night, everyone. God bless America.
I'm sure Mr. Allen feels.
I don't think so either.
Because I didn't see his morning post like I normally do.
Yeah, me neither. I wonder if anyone else is wondering if Biden knows who his running mate is yet. Ellen, we're going to get into that here in just a second. If you're, I love her little face. I say set up traffic lights to help entering traffic. Noah, you tried that, haven't you? Have you tried getting traffic light
at
there?
144th and 100? Yes. I had 2 surveys done. They both came back not having enough of traffic for those. That's why they're going to put those early warning things up. And they're supposed to do it this month. I'm going to call, like I said, here this week and make sure that's still on the plan of getting that and the beacon up at 21B and 100. Now, it's not going to solve everything. People's going to have to pay attention. That's the only way that we're going to make it work.
Chris Brantley, I work with over there in Lake City. Hello, Chris. Noah says NHRA in Florida. Curse Indianapolis. Time for the race to come to Daytona. Bonnie Stevens has got a good question. Mitchell, maybe you know, Byron or Dave, where do you in Stark get a small business license?
Courthouse.
Is it courthouse?
Well, you also, I think you can go, for the city of Stark, you have to go to City Hall.
That's what I thought. Yeah, okay.
City Hall.
City Hall.
Yeah, that's
And
$35
you gotta show
takes a couple of weeks.
whatever you're doing, that you're licensed and bonded to do what you're supposed to do.
Bonnie, so that City Hall costs what, David? $35?
Yeah.
$35, and then, like you said, just got to show proof of what you're doing and that kind of thing there.
Barbie answered.
Oh, did she? Okay, so she's saying, Bill Edgerton, look at there. Good evening from rainy Gulf Breeze, Florida. Oh, boy.
Yep.
Must not be beautiful over on the Gulf Coast.
Who was talking about NHRA?
Noah.
Noah? Well, if you mind if I dive
No,
in a
sure.
little bit?
No, go ahead.
Well, they have been running Indy races for the past couple of races. The next race is also in Indy. So, as far as I know of, the Gator Nationals is still on for September. I think that's like the 25th through the 27th. That's still going on. Now, that Friday will be test and tune for the pro teams. They only do qualifying on Saturday, and it's only 2 qualifying runs. So, it makes it even rough.
Wow.
So, you gotta make the 16-car field in every class in 2 runs.
I wonder how hunting season is going to affect that, because that's
Yes, did.
that's
Yeah.
bow season. That's the second week.
It's going to be loud, whoever's hunting around there.
It doesn't matter.
They're not going to stop. They ain't going to stop that.
No.
But yeah, I'm going to actually call Gainesville Raceway tomorrow and see if they have heard anything when they come in September. Were they possibly going to finish out the rest of their races, possibly in Gainesville, or try to do a couple of them there, because Atlanta actually canceled their Summer Nationals. It is totally canceled now, so they got to figure out where they're going to race, either it's in Indy or another state. A lot of these states are putting up caution flags and saying, hey, we don't want racing coming here because of the COVID-19. But like I said earlier, Ron DeSantis, our governor, he is very much for sports in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
He's even mentioned in the past about Major League Baseball teams. Hey,
Yep.
they won't let you play in your own state.
Come
You
down
can
here and
come to
play.
Florida. We got enough of fields for you to play.
Yeah.
So he's very up on getting sports going here in the state of Florida. But speaking of what happened this weekend in Indy, our winners was Ron Capps and Funny Car, Stephen Torrance and Top Fuel. Jed Coughlin Jr. actually ran his nephew, Troy Coughlin Jr., in the final. And I think that was Troy Coughlin Jr.'s first final in Pro Stock. He has also raced Alcohol Dragster and also Top Fuel.
Wow.
And now what it is, Troy Troy Coughlin Jr. will be taking Jed Coughlin's spot at Elite. This is Jed's last year. So he's trying to hopefully sum up a championship before the end of the season, whenever that may be,
Right.
with all these other tracks closing. And Angel Sampay won her first race in 5 years, and that was her 43rd, I think, win.
Wow.
And she is the most winningest female in NHRA history.
Damn.
And she is now sitting only 4 points behind the first place guy, Brian Ayler. I think that's the person who's sitting in first, only 4 points ahead of her. And so she's going to try to make a run for a championship. And if she wins it, this will be her 4th championship that she has won.
You know what I like about the NHRA, Mitchell?
They don't kneel during the national
No,
anthem.
they sure don't, do they? I love that. NHRA is one of my favorite sports now, Byron.
You know why you know why a drag racer don't kneel during the national anthem? Because the other racers will come around there and beat your rear end.
There you go. Bonnie, good night. I know you have to take care of your son. Barbie, thank you for answering that.
Yep.
For Bonnie. Janet Roll, thank you for joining in. Byron Bagwell, there you go. David, it doesn't look good for my cousin's brother's wife at all. Sorry to hear that, Katie. We will definitely be praying. So, sorry, she says she had to go, so I was trying to. No worries, Barbie. Anytime you can answer a question for us before we get there, please do, by all means. And glad to have you on, by the way. We missed you these last several shows.
Hey, Barbie, since you're really good at that, can you tell me the winning numbers for Wednesday on the Powerball? I need them.
Good grief.
So we can really take this show on the road.
I just want a bass boat.
Yeah, so we're
going to get this big, gigantic motor coach,
Yeah.
and we're going to travel the United States and do
We're going to be like college game day.
That's it.
That'll definitely work. You
Yeah,
know what? Our
yeah.
plans, because of COVID, for going to the Army-Navy game and doing the show have been sort of shot out the
It's
window.
shot out the window, hasn't it? But
Yeah,
we're still
man.
going to figure it out. Yeah, but you got to look at their might to be a player. That could play you and cause you a spot in the draft. That's what Mitchell was saying, and so did Byron. They just had two different takes on it. Kurt Miracle said, let the athletes decide whether they want to play ball. But let's also be careful as far as COVID, fan-wise, and the players.
Right. And see, that's my thing right there that I'm afraid of. I don't think Alachua County is going to let fans in the stands at football.
I don't think so.
I really don't.
If it is, I think it's going to be
very
minuscule.
limited. I think
Very
it's going to be
limited.
very limited. And I mean, get back on the NHRA. They've been practicing it. I think they're allowing only 6,000 fans in
Yep.
at each one of the events. But hey,
If you space it right, you're not going to have a problem.
and they are spaced
You
very
space
far
it
away
right,
from
you're
each
not gonna have a
other.
problem. Now, you
And-
can't control what people do when they're not in the stands.
Right. All reality,
So,
at an NHRA event, you could probably put 15,000 people at an event
Oh, yeah.
and still have enough of spacing because not everyone sits in the bleachers at one time. A lot of people, they walk the pits and stuff like that. You know what? I'm really surprised that NASCAR didn't let, because NASCAR's got their own members. You can become a member of NASCAR, and you would think they would let their own members that support their series have spots in the stands to watch the races.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much that's what NHRA is doing with their 6,000 people. I think they're allowing those tickets to go out to NHRA members, like myself. I'm an NHRA member.
Right.
Here, but
NHRA, look, here, NASCAR.
yeah, NASCAR's got a lot of issues.
Yeah, they just-
they're looking at
the foot.
bankruptcy, looking at bankruptcy again.
Yeah.
There's talks of sponsors pulling out, and the problem with that is the reason why those sponsors might be pulling out. People are not watching it when it comes on TV.
Yep.
It comes on TV, they turn the channel.
Yep.
Their sponsors are not getting the spotlight that they want to get during the races. So if they're not getting the bang for their buck by sponsoring, they're going to drop their sponsorship.
Sure,
and they're going to
sure
put
they
that
are.
somewhere else.
Want to welcome in Dorothy Starlin. How about Judah Sally? She said, good evening, guys. I'm here, but got y'all playing in the car on my way home. As long as that phone is doing this and not that. Right? We don't want that. But I know Judith is, that's what she's practicing safety. Good evening, fellas. Where are y'all at tonight? We are in historical downtown Stark. Byron?
Yep.
That's where Charles McKinney wants to know where we're at.
We're at the DOR studios.
Hey, 3,107 miles from Stoner, British Columbia, Canada.
Somewhere
And we're 2 miles.
underneath the brick. Oh, no, can't do
No,
that.
no.
We're 2 miles up
In an
underneath
underground
the
bunker.
ground.
Yeah.
Up underneath this
There you
building
go.
to keep us safe
Underground
from the
bunker.
radical left.
Barbie Crawford, us, we need to win it too. Kurt Miracle, thank you for coming back. And Roy Jackson's on with us. Byron, who do you have? And then
That's it.
That's all.
That's
Dave, who do you have?
Oh, I got Charles Coward. Hey, Charles.
Charles.
Becky Duget.
Becky,
Ava Starling.
Ava Starling.
Hey,
Hey, Becky.
Robert Lester.
All right, Robert.
Kevin Jordan.
Hey, Kevin.
Kevin.
Yeah, Barry Moore.
Very more. All right.
Yeah.
And you said Becky Nugent?
Nugent or Dugan?
You said Nugent, I believe.
Nugent? Okay.
Yeah, okay.
No,
School Becky.
Becky
Cousin.
Torchin.
Really?
Yeah.
Dugat.
Oh, Dugan.
Oh, it's
Dugan.
Dugan.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, you know her. All right. Is
So,
that?
she's not my cousin.
So she's not your
She's
cousin.
not your cousin. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on the spot with David Rodgers. You just heard a great local section. We got into a little bit of sports. Now, I'm going to shift it right over to the man himself, the historian, the governmental whiz, the political genius, as I've been hearing. How about that? That's nice. You'll take that, won't you?
I don't know about
a guy, a band teacher.
Can you
Hey,
be
a
Joe
band
Biden's
teacher.
interpreter?
Oh, jeez, man.
Because
Nobody
I
can
can't
help.
understand what
Nobody
he's
can
talking about
help that.
That's like interpreting Common Core math. No. The
That-
answer
that's
is no.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Byron Bagwell. Say hello to everybody, Byron.
Hello, everybody.
What do we have today, brother?
Well, you know, I was sitting back thinking yesterday, and of course we have names for Trump supporters, right?
We do.
Yeah.
They call us deplorables.
I call us awesome.
Well, I mean, I wasn't talking about. I wasn't talking about us. They call us deplorables. You know, there's all sort of bad rhetoric that goes into that.
Absolutely.
And I was sitting back thinking, what is a good name to call Biden supporters?
Oh, boy.
And I was sitting there thinking, and no, I'm not going to be dirty with this.
All right.
I'm more civil than that. I was sitting back thinking, you know, what is Joe Biden famous for?
Mumbling.
The what?
Mumbling.
No. Other than that,
Wait a minute.
wait.
Sniffers.
There you go.
Sniffers.
We're going to call them sniffers. Actually, we're going to call them sniffettes. Joe Biden and his sniffettes.
I love it.
That's what we're going to do. And did you hear the good news?
I did.
They have a new #1 hit coming out.
They do.
Yes, they do.
You told me about that hit. Why don't you tell everybody what
It's
that
called
is?
Sniffing Around.
How about that?
Joe Biden and his sniffettes.
Can you give me the beat on that a little bit, Byron?
No.
No.
Isn't there other song like right behind it? Your hair smells good.
Well, the second one that I've been hearing from the B side of it was actually God, this young girl's hair smells good.
That's it. Yeah.
It's a long line.
Nah, well,
is that the second hit or the third hit?
that's the B side for Sniffing Around.
Oh, okay.
So,
Almost
you know, the third thing that's going on in our news today,
Yeah.
he's found the leader of the Sniffettes.
Yes, he has.
He's actually nominated a vice presidential candidate.
Yep.
You know who this is?
I don't know.
I do.
He don't either.
He don't either.
We have
But we know.
a Kamala Harris sighting.
Okay.
And he has nominated Kamala Harris. And I've got something to say about this before I go on any further about Kamala Harris or Joe Biden or anything else.
All right.
This pick is inherently racist. You know why it's inherently racist?
You're going to tell me.
I'm going to tell the whole world this. It's inherently racist because I am going to pick a black female. Does not matter what her qualifications are. Does not matter what anybody else's qualifications. I'm not picking a white person that's better qualified than she is because she is a black female. And it is racist. Period.
Okay.
That is something that all Americans should look at and go, wait a minute. We're going to find somebody that fits this narrative, and we're not going to find the best person to be the vice president of the United States from a political party that you're voting for?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Of course, I ran away from the Democrat Party a long time ago because of stupidity like this. You're putting somebody in there that has a horrible record. She got less votes in the primary than Joe Biden did by African Americans. How are you an African American female and you get less votes than the old rich white guy that's been there for 100 years? I don't understand that, but you can't. I also don't understand how your father doesn't actually support you in your run for president either, but her own father wouldn't support her.
Right.
That says the world. Your own family won't support you. We need to take a step back and you need to take a clear look at what this is. Because this lady has a terrible record as a prosecutor. I mean, a terrible record of doing whatever she has to do to further her political career, whether it's right-leaning or left-leaning. She is a political opportunist. She is not a good person, and people can say what they want to about what I just said about her, but if you look at her history and you tell me this woman is a good person, I'm going to question your judgment because she is just not a good person.
Right.
Look at what her and Cory Booker did to California with their basic nonsense on it wasn't police reform. It was about incarceration. Mm-hmm. You take a look at that and you tell me that that's the type of person you want as VP. And I knew all of this stuff, and I knew that if you picked her, I would be talking about stuff like this. But I'm not the one that needs to be doing this. You people out there need to be going and looking into these people who and make a contrast and comparison into what the two groups are doing. Because Joe Biden has done nothing in the years that he has been in the Senate, and he was vice president, and he literally did nothing at that point either. Neither has Kamala Harris. If you look at the contrast and compare the two groups that are running against each other, it's nothing and a whole lot of things. And a whole lot of really, really good things. And I sounded like a little bit like Donald Trump just then. I go over and tell people things that Donald Trump does all the time. The opportunity zones. If you don't know what an opportunity zone is, you need to go and look what the Trump administration has done for the African American communities. Mm-hmm. They have brought all sort of businesses in, created all sort of opportunities. And basically, because of things like opportunity zones, they actually have the lowest African American unemployment in the history of this country, up until the point COVID-19 showed up. The second thing that they've done is they basically did incarceration reform and let a whole bunch of people go that they should have let go. They got really stiff penalties for stuff they never should have gotten stiff penalties for.
Right.
If you watch the video of those people that Donald Trump basically helped get out of prison and watch how grateful they are, it really will touch your heart because some of it's wrong and it needs to be fixed. And they had 8 years before this to do anything about it with Joe Biden. And what did Barack Obama and Joe Biden do? The answer is they did nothing.
They took up space. That's about it.
Well, they did a whole bunch of things. They did a whole bunch of things to make it worse,
Right.
not better.
Right.
And you start looking and comparing and contrasting this, and you'll see there is no comparison if you look at it through the eyes of logic. But if you look at it through the eyes of emotion, orange man bad, Democrat good, and that's what we're going to get.
Yeah.
I want this election over with because I am so sick and tired of that Neanderthal type of thought.
Let me ask you something. You know, we were just talking about Kamala Harris and her track record, and you brought up her past, which has not been very good.
Oh,
and you're right. Man. When your own family won't support you, that's got to tell you something.
Well, and we're going to get thrown back to Donald Trump's cousin.
Well, of course,
wrote that book and all.
No.
Yeah, okay.
So let me ask you this, and you have been studying a lot of these candidates. And, okay, let's say Joe Biden is your presidential nominee, which he is. All right. Who would you have thought? Or who, not just knowing the candidates that are out there, knowing that side, who would you have picked for your running mate? I know it wouldn't have been Kamala Harris.
First off, if I was still a Democrat, I would have voted for Tulsi Gabbard, excuse me.
For your presidential nominee?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
And if she hadn't won, that's who I would have picked, because she was one of the very few that were in that 1,418 million person field that they had at the beginning of this that had any common sense at all.
Right.
And the party ran directly away from her because she was more left center than she was left.
Right.
And it shows where the party is.
Right.
Now, on top of all of this that we're talking about, guess who is Joe Biden's economic czar? And those are his words, not mine.
Bernie Sanders.
That would be exactly right. The socialist, Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
His policies are going to drive this country into the ground. Guess who is the green czar for Joe Biden?
AOC.
Yeah, that.
Okay, now, I can understand. Bernie Sanders, I can understand, because if you're brainwashed into believing socialism works anywhere, anytime, in any way, you can say, okay, the man is smart about socialism and he knows how to implement it. But how anybody could put that woman in a cabinet for a president is insane. She's mystified by a garbage disposal. I'm sorry.
She's probably going to make those illegal because they use too much energy.
Yeah, no, they're going to. Yeah, no.
So, I'm going back to the question.
Sure. There's one more czar I'll throw out after you ask. Go ahead and ask your question.
Well, that one I asked, who would you choose for? I know you were going through these.
If Gabbard did not get the nomination, I would have wanted her to have the nomination.
Right.
Because there has to be some sense somewhere in that
So
party.
you would have chose to.
Or I wouldn't vote for him. I would vote Republican, like I did before I got out of the Democrat Party.
So Joe Biden, your presidential nominee, he beat her out, okay? And you saying his running mate should have been who?
Tulsi Gabbard.
You know, it's the same name that I came up with. Same name that I came up with.
She was one of the only ones that had any sense at all. I mean, at all.
How come we're not hearing much from her right now?
Well, because she's probably, it would be my guess, she's probably been about to be exiled out of the Democrat Party.
That's what I was wondering.
End up with an R beside her name would be my guess.
Yeah.
That would be my guess. Now, I don't really want her in the Republican Party because her policies are not Republican policies.
Right.
But that would be my guess. Either that or she'll turn into an independent. She'll just quietly disappear into the night, which is sad because at least she had some common sense. She had some common sense about some things. I look at this whole entire thing, and the only reason I could come up with that anybody would vote for that nonsense that the Democrats have nominated was because they hate Donald Trump. And
hasn't that been from the get-go?
Well, I guess it has.
Yeah.
But David, you don't elect a person into the office of the president of the United States, because you don't like the president that's there. That's emotion.
I know. That's your voting on emotion.
You're
You're voting
from
on emotion.
From emotion.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is you're inviting disaster.
Right.
Because if these people can't run this country, and Joe Biden, I don't think could run a lemonade stand at this point.
Yeah.
And who's pulling the strings?
Well, we know it's what was trying.
I mean, who is going to really be running our country if Joe Biden's elected? It won't be Joe Biden.
Nancy Pelosi.
Nancy Pelosi's one of them.
Yep.
Chuck Schumer's
the
another
other
one.
one.
Bernie Sanders, God forbid.
Crazy Romney.
No,
I don't know about Romney.
Romney has put himself in a position where it's odd.
He's sort of like he's like in a black hole.
George Soros, anybody? How many people want to make a bet you'll hear the names of the leaders of BLM included in the policy decisions from this group? Marxists, avowed, educated Marxists.
And I'm glad that you brought that up real quick about BLM, because there are peaceful protesting in the streets. They're not so peaceful by some of the pictures that I've seen here lately with them standing out in the street with handguns. I'm sorry. You show me a handgun at me, I'm probably going to show you a handgun back.
Well, I mean, that military member did that.
Yeah.
The guy went over there with an AK.
Brandish a firearm at me.
Guy got shot.
I'm pulling mine out, and I'm going to protect myself.
Well,
I don't know what you're going to do behind the trigger.
What's the old saying, Mitchell? The old adage? If you pull a gun, you're intended to use it. Right?
That's right.
You're intending to use it.
I was always taught that if I pull a gun on somebody,
you better use it.
You're using it.
I'm
using it.
I'm
going to shoot you. If you're not going to do that, then you don't pull guns on people. I was taught not to pull guns on people, period.
That's right.
Point a gun at anybody.
Yep.
But if I had to, I would.
Of course.
All of this is nuts. I mean, it's pure insanity to me. I'm sitting here looking at this. This president has done things that I did not think was possible in the time that he's done. I was not originally a Trump supporter. I wanted Cruz in there.
Me too.
That's who I wanted.
Yeah, me too.
I wanted to see Cruz as president.
Yep.
That's who I voted for in the primary, Republican primary. But Donald Trump has done exactly what he said he was going to do, and he's exposing all sort of nonsense. And I think really that's what the problem is, because he's upset the apple cart. Now we're going to make him the most evil person ever to have the office. You know, that's just nonsense. You're doing the man a disservice. He served this country for and I'm not talking in a military service position, but I'm talking about creating jobs and creating wealth in this country for years. Not only with his business, but with his reality show. I mean,
The man, Shark Tank.
The man is not a bad person. You're making him out to be Satan.
Hey, I want to mention something. You know, you're talking about those who hate Trump. I would say about 50 to 60% of those people, they're the ones that don't get up in the morning and go to work. They're the ones that does not have no responsibility. Those are the ones that are not law-abiding citizens that want to use this for their own personal tool to go looting and destruction of people's property without the risk of going to jail. This is a bunch of sick individuals.
Sure they are.
That have lost touch. And the thing is, if they don't like it here in this country, there's planes that leave here every day. Get the hell out.
Well,
yeah.
Those I can deal with. It's the other 40 or 50% that really believe that socialism and communism is going to work somewhere in this world.
Let's load them up and give them a nice holiday
in Siberia.
Or let's send them down to
Siberia. You send them to Venezuela.
Yeah.
Or how about sending them to Beijing?
Yeah, that is a great place.
Let's give
them a 3-week tour of Beijing.
Better yet.
And let them act crazy
Move on.
there like that and see what happens. Because you know
Yeah.
what? There's no jail for those type of people. They'll just go out
They
there
just
and kill
kill
them.
you. Yeah. I got a question for you, Byron.
Or you'll become an experiment to cure COVID-19.
Yeah.
You're telling them
Yeah.
And I just want to iterate
Yeah.
one thing. The reason why you don't see a lot of people reacting to BLM or Antifa in the same fashion that they're acting toward us is because we are law-abiding citizens and we believe in the Constitution and our amendments that have been laid out by our forefathers.
And we're waiting on our government to do something.
But and I'll tell you, if our government doesn't do something, or the president picks up the phone and makes announcements, that's it. We've had enough. They're trying to pull a coup and try to take over this country. Go ahead and grab your firearms, take care of business. And keep this country the way it's meant to be by our forefathers.
I'll
tell you what,
say that. And
when
you
that
have
happens,
a problem. It
it's,
takes a week, maybe.
it's lights out.
So I've got a question for all you gentlemen. Dave, you too. All right, you said that President Trump has done these things, and he's done a great job at it. We know, we can prove
Look
it.
at
We
the
can prove.
economy. Look at the
economy.
stock market.
Look at the unemployment rate before the COVID-19.
Look at what he did with the opportunity zones. Look at what he did with.
Why do you think?
trade.
Why do you think the hatred towards him is? And before you answer that, let me give you my theory.
Sure.
Because I've heard this. Because he is the most unorthodox president that I've ever seen. He has no couth. I've heard this now.
Sure.
He has no couth. He doesn't know how to be politically correct. He doesn't know.
And that's
And
what
I'm
makes it so great.
And that's exactly right.
Because
That's
he's
what
not
I said.
somebody's puppet.
He's not. And that's exactly right. He's not somebody's puppet.
Here's my answer to that. He is not really a Republican.
That is correct.
He is a moderate
Correct.
in policy.
Yeah.
He is a moderate in policy that acts by the code that the Democrat Party from the 70s and the 80s acted like.
Correct.
He acts like a Democrat politician from that time period.
Yep.
And the modern day Democrats don't know how to deal with it. He's acting like one of their own,
Right.
but he's implementing policies that people on the right consider right, and right is a wrong word anyway.
Right.
But he's implementing those policies at the same time he's acting like a Democrat.
Right.
And they don't know how to deal with it. They see it, they go, he's a monster. Well, take a look at some of the things Barack Obama said.
Right.
And the lies that came with it.
Well, first off,
No, you don't have to change your doctor. You don't have to change your doctor.
If a Republican president, after he was elected, had told the Democrats it was your turn to ride on the back of the bus, what do you think the reaction to that would
Oh,
have
I already know what that would have been.
been? He's the biggest
What's this
racist
anyway?
bigot in the world.
Right.
But nobody said anything because he was Barack Obama. I said something about it because it angered me greatly. I'm an American. Donald Trump, I mean, he does and says some things.
Yeah.
Do you ever remember him talking about the American public at large like that? I mean, think about that for a second. Do you think, has he ever said anything about the public at large, the Democrats at large, or is it mainly aimed at Democrat politicians in the deep state?
Well, yeah, I think it's aimed at Democrat politicians.
It's
There's
aimed
no
at
doubt.
Democrat
Yeah,
politicians and
yeah.
the deep state.
Say, yeah.
And what they do is they transfer that onto themselves, thinking
Right.
he's talking about them. He's not talking about
No.
the American public.
No.
He's talking about the Democrat Party. And by Democrat Party, I'm talking about the DNC.
Right.
It's who he's talking about when he does that, and the media.
Oh,
Yeah.
He does.
Oh,
the media,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
blame
I
him
know,
because they're
yeah.
dishonest as the day is long.
Yeah.
But
Well, they serve their own agenda anyway.
well, they serve
Yeah.
they They're a wing of the Democrat
Right.
Party, is what they really are.
I'll tell you one thing, though. Here in the last couple of weeks, though, I have heard a round of applause after he gets finished with the media here lately. And we didn't hear that a while back. We're hearing more of it now.
Well, here's the thing. The people in the media aren't stupid. They know that they have pushed this so far that they have no credibility anymore. Except for maybe Fox. And half the time I'm not sure about them.
I'm not sure about having
Half the time I'm not sure about them either. So what they're doing is it actually appreciation for Donald Trump, or are they trying to repair their own reputation? Because I'm telling you, if you look at CNN's ratings, and MSNBC's ratings, and ABC's and CBS,
They're going down the tubes.
on the news, they're down the tubes.
Right.
But, you know, I look at all of this and I wonder, is there any common sense left in America coming from
That
the
side.
left? No, the left.
That's what I said. That side.
I'm not even going to call them Democrats because they're really not Democrats.
That's why I said
They're
that
socialist
side.
Democrats. Is there any sense? The answer is no, because what they do is they propagandize people into believing their narrative,
Right.
and then everything that's not from them is evil.
Right.
Done over and over and over and over again through history, and that's what we're seeing.
I've got one thing, and I'm going to have to run.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Okay. What do you think about the stimulus package when the Democrats are against it because they want to put money into a new location for FBI headquarters? They're throwing a fit about it, okay? But it was okay a couple of months ago for them to get so much money
For the Kennedy Center.
But now they can't put money aside for bringing
Yeah.
FBI headquarters?
Well,
We get burned
the answer is, and I talked about this on the last show. I don't. Was he here?
Yeah, he was here. Yeah, he was here.
It's a trap. Donald Trump has set up a trap for him.
Yeah.
Because what's going to happen is they're going to go in, they're going to sue and stop it, and when they walk out, what are you going to say? We just stopped people in America who are suffering.
Well,
for losing money.
they're still
Yeah.
working on it on the Senate floor because I watched it yesterday.
Yeah, but if it does fail, if it doesn't go through, like what'd you say? It's a perfect plan. It's a perfect
It's a trap.
It's a perfect trap. Because
Because
what's he going to do? He's going to come out and he's going to go, ladies and gentlemen, I've tried my darndest to make sure that this thing went through.
in the Democrat Party,
Shot it down.
Shot it down.
stop me in court.
Cool. Yes.
Let's go to Nancy Pelosi. Let's go. People in the media, why don't you go ask
Her. Yeah.
and Chuck Schumer why they stopped the stimulus that I had planned. All of this money going to people, all this money to save small businesses and everybody
Right.
else. Ask them to explain why they just stopped that. They're the ones that just did this.
Now, Bernie Sanders, did you hear his plan on the floor? His plan was to give every American $2,000 a month until the coronavirus was over. If they did that, this country would be flat broke.
Do
in
you
2
know
months.
why? Because the
Because
coronavirus is
we are-
never going to be over.
No,
Communists.
we're already broke.
Nah.
He wants to try to give you something.
He wants to redistribute wealth.
Well,
Yes,
yes.
That's exactly what he's trying to do.
Yes.
He is.
Well, I'm out of here.
You can't.
I'll see you later.
You can't vacation in Moscow on your
Can you give me a second?
180s
Let's
and
role
not be
play.
a
Just real
communist.
quick. Give me a
Okay.
minute. Give me a minute. Byron, I know that's a great segment. Want to role play because somebody says, let's do some tornado football. You are big Kevin now.
Okay.
He's like, okay. Yeah. Cool. You can be
5'11",
Sheriff
6'4".
All right. So we're going to do the Bowls game. Remember the interception?
No, actually, I don't because
I don't either.
Yeah, that's all right. You just follow my lead, okay? All right. So we're going to go right here. All right.
Okay.
So we are at Bowles High School Field
Yeah.
and Bulldog Field. Big Kev. Hey, Tornadoes are trailing 9-0 right now. And it looks like the Bowles Bulldogs are driving on the Tornadoes and looking to put this game away. They are at the Tornadoes 6-yard line. The Tornadoes are lining up in that 4-3 defense, And we've got Malik Hankerson on one end, and we got Armand Jensen on the other end. We got Nadro Davis sitting in the free safety spot. Let's hope the Tornadoes can hold them here. What do you think, Kev?
I think it's a pretty good possibility there,
Yeah,
David.
it's
I think their defense is pretty stout. We're going to see what we can do about this and stop them right here, right now.
We've only given up 9 points to a very potent team. They're the number 2 team in the state. Sheriff, what do you think about that? I tell you, Bowls recruits all over the world and all over the country, but the Tornadoes are right here. Hopefully they can hold them out of here. We can go into the halftime maybe with just a field goal to 12-0, maybe 9-0 if we can block this thing. What do you think, Sheriff?
I'll tell you what, I'll take heart any day of the week over muscle.
Well,
and I'll tell you what, we got a fast runner back there playing free safety, and anything can happen.
Anything can happen. That's exactly right. But we're back after the timeouts right here, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Bowls lined up at the Tornadoes 6-yard line. We got twin receivers to the left. We got twin receivers to the right. He brings the one receiver, the Bowls quarterback. He's been accurate all night. He's back to pass. He throws it right to Nadro Davis. Nadro Davis shakes it all the way to the house. Nobody will catch him. That's going to be a tornado touchdown. So we had a role play. Y'all asked for it. We gave it to you in just a little bit. Hey, Charles McKinney says, there's a game tonight.
We wish.
Lord, I wish there was a football game.
All right, Mitchell. Hey,
Mitchell.
Good night, Mitchell. Mitchell's got to go. He's got some things he needs to take care of. We're getting ready to wrap it up. Great segment by all of us. This was a great show tonight. Hey, I tell you, we've had some great comments. Byron right here. Joel Davis is on. Charles McKinney's comment is great. You'll have to read that. Kurt Miracle says amen to you. Vincent D. Tucker out of Arizona. What's going on, my brother? Hey, Z and Tuck and Z, Thursday night, 10:30. You can catch them. That's 10:30.
Our time.
Our time.
Yeah, our time.
7:30 theirs. The Democrat Party, there's God, I missed that. Roy Jackson, God, I missed that. We do too, brother. All right, Byron, let's wrap it up real quick. But before we do that, let's get Austin Storm Chaser Stevens in here for a last-minute weather report.
Good evening, everyone. I'm back looking at a disturbance in the Atlantic now, too, that has formed. Tropical Depression 11 could possibly become a threat for the Bahamas or the U.S. This is like 7 to 14 days out, so just follow my page, Austin's Westers, on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Austin's Westers for the latest. We also have our own Hurricane Center group where me and Michael will be tracking that storm until it passes away.
Just to get a little bit of your insight, how you think, Austin, what do you, as you see it right now, and I know things can change, what do you see it doing right now?
Right now, it may hit wind shear right around Puerto Rico at 25 to 35 miles per hour, which to any normal person, that is upper level wind. It's like, you have your typical winds down here on Earth, that's your atmospheric winds, up where planes flying, whatever.
Okay.
Tropical storms do not like that. That makes them move sideways, and then instead of a perfect top, they start lifting and start tipping over, and they cannot develop and stack up them thunderstorms. So it theoretically just tears them apart. Right now, most models take it right into Puerto Rico, and it just becomes a rainmaker for them and dies off. But they did that same thing with Isaias, and, well, that thing went all the way up into the Carolinas and caused a mess all the way up into Canada. There's still some people in New York, actually, without power, still as of this time.
Wow. So you look forward to it, maybe give me a little bit of a prediction. Put yourself out there just a little bit. I won't hold you to it. Up the center of the east side, west side, what do you think?
I would have to say it would probably go up the east side of the state of Florida.
East side, okay.
Depending on to the Bermuda High, it may push it into the state. It won't become a threat for us until after the 20th.
After the 20th, okay. Very well. Thank you also for that great weather report.
As I have more.
Okay.
Our tropics are very warm, and I was telling Dave before the show that just because the tropics are warm does not mean that we haven't had any tropical storms or hurricanes. I would get your plans ready we're still not in the peak of hurricane season, and there's predicted to be a bunch of waves coming off the coast of Africa, and they have a good distance to come across the Atlantic. So I would know your plan, have your plans ready, and if you're in an evacuation zone in Clay County, Duval County, or even St. John's or Flagler County, you don't have to evacuate hundreds of miles, just tens of miles. Ask a friend, ask a family member to stay at their house until the storm passed. And, if you're in a mobile home, I would evacuate, just so you're
Good
safe.
thought. Okay.
And
Sure.
we'll here at our on the spot crew. I'm watching everything, and we'll take our precautions as possible during these events.
Thank you very much, Austin. Great report. Mr. Byron Bagwell, go ahead. Give me a last final thought, brother, before me and you go get some supper. We hungry.
Now, please, ladies and gentlemen, common sense in a time where common sense is uncommon should be the rule of the day. You have to look at what's going on in this world and make your decisions on how you're going to form our government. Please do not put somebody in there that got dementia and another woman that is a political just opportunist. They will destroy this country along with our jobs and our future.
David Holland,
Yes, sir.
last second thought.
I can't wait till sports
Oh,
comes back so
It's great talking about
I can sit in front of the TV like I've been doing for 8 months and at least watch some sports,
There you go.
some real sports.
We'll do that again. Everybody liked that little segment we did.
That was
we'll
good.
we'll work on that this week, and we will really crisp that up, and we'll do it Saturday night for you guys again. Maybe we'll take another play. I've got another play in mind that really tore me off in that Bowls game that we'll call too. But anyway, I just want to thank our first responders, everybody that is out there putting their lives on the line, our law enforcement, our firefighters, our dispatchers, nurses, everybody that's on the front line out there. You truly are our heroes. There's no doubt about that. My dear heart goes out to my United States military. Our United States military, what a fine job you do.
God bless all of our service.
All of our service people. And also all the people that work in warehouses, truckers, everybody that's doing their daily thing, what I like to call the essential workers. We are as well. I want to thank you for everything that you do. David, something near and dear to my heart. Who do I love? The farmers, don't I? Man, I want to do something for the farmers. I tell you what, I love our farmers. I love anybody that works that. That is a tough job.
Oh, of course it is.
Oh my God, there ain't no way I could do it. I'm gonna tell you right now, they'd have to fire me. You're fired, David. I couldn't do it. That takes a special type of people to do that.
Dawn to dusk.
Dawn to dusk.
Sometimes later than that,
Later
depending
than
on
that.
what you're farming.
You got that right. So anyway, God bless you guys. Please be safe. Please be careful. Keep your head on a swivel. Make sure you know what's going on in and around you. Not only with this Antifa, BLM stuff going on, there's still other crimes, ladies and gentlemen, that are happening around you. Please keep your head on a swivel. Keep your family safe. Hey, we love you. From all of us here, on behalf of Mr. Byron Bagwell, Mr. Austin Stevens, Mr. Dave Holland, the now exited Mr. Mitchell Gunner, Michael Heater, who's protecting us on the 911. I'm your host, David Rodgers. God bless you. We will see you Saturday night with another great show. Have a great week, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you.
Good night, everybody.
The views and opinions expressed by the On the Spot with David Rodgers show are solely based on the show's hosts, guests, and viewers, and we are solely responsible for all show content in its entirety and does not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of our sponsors in any way. These broadcasts are presented and made public by the On the Spot with David Rodgers show in the hope that it will be entertaining and informative to our viewers and listening audience.